Good evening, you're with us on 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where we curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers. Before I get to the headlines, I want to quickly get our viewers up to speed where numerically India stands with its fight against COVID-19. Viewers, right now we are inching towards the 40 lakh mark. We are right now at 39,36,748 positive cases. Till now, we've recorded 68,742 deaths. The worst hit state continues to be the state of Maharashtra with total of 8,43,844 positive cases and 25,586 deaths. Andhra is at second with 4,65,730 positive cases and 4,200 deaths. Tamil Nadu is on the third place, recording a total positive import of 4,45,851 positive cases and 7,608 deaths. All of this information collated. Well, it's been a day of big developments in the Sushant Singh Rajput death probe case. Ria's brother Showik is currently being grilled at the Narcotics Control Bureau office in Mumbai. Showik, Sushant's former house manager Samuel Miranda, and the held drug peddler are being quizzed together in the drug link case. NCB sources have revealed that Showik Chakraborty only used to buy drugs and not sell them. But the grilling is still underway, and he will not be arrested today is what we are getting to know. Peddler Zaid Basit are currently in NCB custody until September 9th and are being quizzed with Showik. India Today has learned that Showik reportedly met drug peddlers Basit Parihar at a football club 2 years ago in Bandra. Both Showik and Basit became good friends. Basit introduced Showik to peddler Zaid and Kaizan. Peddler Zaid was the one who supplied drugs to Sushant's ex-house manager Samuel Miranda in March this year. Meanwhile, after 3 hours of raids, Narcotics Bureau team is now grilling Ria Chakraborty's brother Showik. This as the NCB team is probing the drug link in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case. India Today was the first to get you the action on ground as Ria Showik residence was raided at 6:40 a.m. today. Two teams reached Ria Showik's house this morning, one at 6:40 as a lady officer who was part of the team. The second team reached the residence at 7:15. IRS officer Sameer Wankhade and NCP Deputy Director KPS Malhotra were heading the 8-member team part of the raids. This after two drug peddlers confessed to the NCB over their links to Showik. The third suspected peddler is being quizzed on whether he supplied drugs to Showik. Samuel Miranda, Sushant's ex-house manager, was also raided by the narco team after arrested peddler Zaid confessed that he delivered drugs to Miranda in March this year through Showik. Meanwhile, massive protests have emerged against Kangana Ranaut after a war of words broke out between the actor and the Agadi government leaders, and now it seems to be about the Marathi pride versus Kangana Ranaut. Sena MP Sanjay Raut, in his latest tweet while attacking the actor, said that Mumbai belongs to Marathis and that the party will teach a lesson to the enemies of Maharashtra. The Sena MP had earlier called Kangana a mental case and dared her to live in POK. This as Kangana compared Mumbai to Taliban after comparing the financial capital to POK. The actor's Taliban comparison tweet came in response to Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh's jibe. The minister had said those who do not trust Mumbai police have no right to stay in the city. Sena's Anil Parab too called out Kangana for her alleged bid to defame the state. He added that she did not help CBI and is only trying to pollute the environment. Earlier on, the actor had tweeted that she will be returning to Mumbai on September 9th and said that no one can stop her from returning to the city.
कोई भी हो, इस प्रकार की भाषा का इस्तेमाल करना किसी भी पुलिस के बारे में ये ठीक नहीं है कि आप जिस राज्य में रहते हो, जिस शहर में आप रहते हो, जिस शहर में आप कमाते हो, शोहरत आपको वहाँ मिलती है, सब कुछ मिलता है, वहाँ की पुलिस हमेशा आपकी रक्षा करती है, इस शहर की रक्षा करती है, और आप उस पुलिस के बारे में अनाप शनाप बात करेंगे। आप ऐसे पुलिस के बारे में इस प्रकार की भाषा का इस्तेमाल करते हो, क्या ये एक महिला को शोभा देता है? जो पढ़ी लिखी महिला है उनको शोभा देता है? अगर हमने ये कहा तो बोलते हमको धमकी दी, ये मेंटल केस है।
ऐसी मुंबई पुलिस की तुलना उन्होंने जो की है, ऐसी हालत में उनको महाराष्ट्र में रहने का, मुंबई में रहने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है।
आप अगर मुंबई के बारे में ऐसा अगर चाहती हो या बोलती हो तो निश्चित रूप से मुंबई में रहने का आपका नैतिक अधिकार नहीं है। भविष्य में अगर आप तभी मुंबई में वापस अगर आओगी और हमारी महिला आघाड़ी के माध्यम से अगर कुछ हो गया तो उसकी जिम्मेदारी लेने में भी हमें कुछ गलत नहीं लगेगा। हम यही कहना चाहते हैं राज्य के गृह मंत्री को कि कंगना राणावत ने बहुत ही गंदी तरह से कि मुंबई की अवहेलना की है। उसने अगर मुंबई को पाकिस्तान व्याप्त कश्मीर ऐसा कहा है तो उसके ऊपर देशद्रोह का खटला दाखिल होना चाहिए, उसको अरेस्ट होना चाहिए, ऐसी मेरी मांग है।
Meanwhile, as the situation at the LAC continues to remain tense, China is seeking talks with India in a bid to break the deadlock. China has requested a meet with Defense Minister Ranaut Singh on the sidelines of Shanghai Cooperation Organization today in Moscow.
China on the back foot? China striking a peaceful note? Or plain old Chinese mind games? China wants to talk, and following a request from their defense minister, India's Rajnath Singh will be meeting with his counterpart in Moscow today. The meeting comes after the Indian Army's decisive actions in eastern Ladakh, storming dominant heights and putting Chinese aggressions on notice. You might be wondering, what are these talks about? What's China's real game here? This is, after all, a country that has mounted serial aggressions in Ladakh while pretending to hold military-level discussions. So why has it now requested a meeting between defense ministers? Let's look closely at those possibilities we began this report with. Is China on the back foot? While conflict is never as simple as that, it is undeniable that the Indian Army's recent preemptive actions have caught China off guard. They weren't expecting the normally defensive Indian Army to take aggressive initiatives to turn the table. The next option is China striking a peaceful note. Once again, this needs to be looked at very carefully. A country that has invested enormously in the Ladakh aggression couldn't have suddenly had a change of heart, though there is the outside chance that an aggressive Indian army has shown the Chinese what the costs of such a misadventure could be. Finally, could the request for a meeting be part of familiar old mind games that are standard operating procedure for the Chinese, where they mask devious military intent with the semblance of diplomatic outreach? If that is the case, it wouldn't be the first time. There's a full track record for such duplicity. When Prime Minister Modi met with Chinese Premier Xi Jinping for the first time in July 2014 at the BRICS summit in Brazil, the Chinese army was busy mounting intrusions in Ladakh's Chumar and Demchok areas. 2 months later, when the Chinese premier arrived in Ahmedabad for his first summit with the Indian PM, the lilting images of the two leaders on the banks of the Sabarmati River were offset by Chinese incursions in Depsang in northern Ladakh. The famous Wuhan summit in 2018 was to reset ties and create a new framework that could lead to an end to the border dispute. But even as the two leaders met in Wuhan, the Chinese military was busy violating airspace in Ladakh. And finally last year, when the Chinese premier met with the Indian Prime Minister outside Chennai in Mahabalipuram for some very memorable atmospherics, the Chinese army was busy violating protocols at Pangong, the beginnings of the build-up to the current standoff that began just months later. Of course, the Indian government is well aware of the Chinese playbook and also recognizes that India speaks from a position of strength. But in the larger game of Chinese checkers, history has taught India never to take anything at face value, especially when trust is non-existent. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, as India and China remain on tinderbox in Ladakh, a crucial strategic mountain tunnel that will enable the movement of troops and supplies is now ready for use. The 8.8-kilometer strategic Rohtang tunnel is also called the Atal Tunnel and will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister on the 25th September. India Today's Manjeet Negi brings you more.
Indian and Chinese troops in a standoff on the line of actual control for more than 4 months. With India dominating some of the key heights, the message is loud and clear. India won't back down. And now the world's longest road tunnel connecting Rohtang Pass with Manali will help the forces add more muscle on the border. The tunnel, set to be inaugurated on September 25th by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will help in the movement of troops and weapons. Constructed at an altitude of 10,000 feet above sea level, the tunnel is named after former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
The tunnel on the Manali-Leh highway is 9 km long and took almost 10 years to complete. It's built at a high altitude over the 10,000 feet at the sea level in the Pir Panjal range of Himachal Pradesh. And this is strategically very important for the security forces.
The tunnel is 9 kilometers long and 10 meters wide. It will reduce the distance between Leh and Manali by 46 kilometers.
Main highlight of this tunnel is this has got an underground tunnel, which is the only one tunnel in India where there is a escape tunnel which is just below the main tunnel. Otherwise, all other tunnels, the escape tunnel is to be parallel to the main tunnel.
The tunnel, constructed for emergency situations, is designed to withstand hostile weather and avalanches. 3,000 cars and 1,500 trucks can simultaneously move through the tunnel. Strategically, the new route will ensure timely supplies of weapons and other logistics to the troops in Ladakh.
We have been able to overcome the most treacherous part of this journey. The Rohtang climbs were known to be one of the most treacherous, where we had the maximum accidents and one of the maximum snowfalls. I think this achievement has put the army at a great strategic advantage, where we are closer to Ladakh and our forces can move in much more swiftly.
The tunnel cost about 4,000 crore rupees and used Australian technology. The need for a new route was experienced most during the Kargil War. The new tunnel is crucial as many roads in Jammu and Kashmir and Rohtang in Himachal are blocked during the winter.
The prime purpose to build this tunnel to provide all-weather access to India's security forces to Leh, which is the prime military post in the line of actual control. The tunnel, after this opening, will become the important road resupplying the military supply towards line of actual control with China.
With Manjeet Negi at Rohtang Tunnel, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, as COVID cases continue to rise across the capital, the Delhi government has decided to reopen pubs from September 9th. Standard operating procedures related to distancing have also been released, but with coronavirus cases spiking, is Delhi party ready? That's the question.
Liquor taps are set to open in Delhi. Booze to flow in restaurants, pubs and bars from 9th September. Eyeing a revival in earnings hit by a 5-month shutdown, bars are gearing up to manage the expected jump in customers. But COVID pandemic is still a raging concern. Delhi is now close to 2 lakh cases, reporting its highest spike on Thursday with 2,737 cases. The death toll has reached 4,500. Approved by the Lieutenant Governor, the Delhi government has now released specific guidelines. Bars in containment zones will remain closed. Only asymptomatic persons with face masks will be permitted. No standing customers will be allowed inside the pub or the bar. And 50% is the approved capacity. So how prepared are Delhi's joints to welcome more customers? One of the biggest brands of repute, the Taj Palace, is set to open its high-end Blue Bar. Shut for months now, the Taj management is ensuring social distancing in its seating. They are even removing the bar stools to avoid further crowding.
As per the government guidelines, we have already done the physical distancing of the tables. They're more than 6 feet far from each other. The table sittings have been arranged accordingly. Now we have individually packed nuts. So they're sealed, packed for the guests, no contamination, in their individual bottles.
Even the posh Khan market is now ready to move from dine-in to also serving selected cocktails, but with restrictions.
When guest is going to enter in our restaurant, we are taking name, numbers. Apart from that, we are doing thermal screening and sanitization.
Delhi can take a cue from the city of Bengaluru that opened its pubs and bars this week.
People coming more out, and this was bound to happen, and this is a good move, and everybody is pretty happy. As you see behind me, the people are coming out more, and I think they were missing their beverages.
With Nolan Pinto in Bengaluru, Pooja Shali in Delhi for India Today.
Right, let's bust certain claims that are masquerading to be facts, especially on social media and WhatsApp groups. There is a claim that is floating about which suggests Hindu women subjected to domestic violence by Muslim husband. The fact check on that. This viral image is from 2012 and is not related to domestic violence. False there. All right, viewers, with that, it's an end of 7 at 7. Do stay tuned. Up next is To The Point. But before I let you go, as a part of our ongoing Smile Heroes campaign with Colgate, we bring you another story of optimism that has helped bring smiles in these tough times. Ranjit Singh and many truck drivers like him drove hundreds of kilometers during the lockdown and a risk to their lives, only to ensure an unbroken supply of essential services.
Truck drivers across the country relentlessly continued their duty of delivering essential supplies during a nationwide lockdown. For Ranjit Singh, even a breakdown that left him stranded for hours on the highway could not deter him from his responsibility of supplying milk to the capital. It was the optimism and determination of truck drivers like Ranjit that ensured an unbroken supply of essential services in these tough times.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.